It is the end of the weekend, and it's time to check out just a few things that came up over the weekend. This first one involves a woman here in Florida who refused to give her ID to the officer, even though it's state law for a motorist to produce ID when stopped. So let's check this out.
Morning, I'm Officer Benavides with the Orlando Police Department. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, please?
What is wrong with my tag?
I'm sorry?
What is wrong with my tag?
There's nothing wrong with your tag. May I see your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, please?
Why do I have to?
I need to see your driver's license, registration, and proof.
Lady, a fair question to ask would be, why did you pull me over? Because I think that's a fair question to ask. You know, what was the reason for you stopping me? Because they need a lawful reason to stop you. But once they stop you, it's the law to produce your ID, lady.
This is a traffic stop. I need you to identify yourself.
Speeding.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
I'm sorry, it's because I've been seeing a lot of news on the...
So the reason why I stopped you today is because your license is expired. Let me see your driver's license.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Listen, if you refuse to identify yourself, I will take you to jail for resisting without violence. Either you identify yourself to me right now, or I'm taking you to jail.
Yeah, cops don't fuck around in Florida. Okay. Not these days.
I go 4-3. Can I get a 45, please? Turn off
Here
your
we
car.
go.
Turn off
45
your
is supervisor, I think, right?
Turn off your car. Turn off your car. If you call somebody to come to this traffic stop, they will also get arrested for impeding on a traffic stop. Don't do this. Do not do this right now.
Oh, good grief.
I need to see your ID. The ID is in the back of your
Your lawyer
phone.
will tell you the same thing.
License.
And he'll charge you a shitload of money to tell you what the cops already telling you.
I don't care if you're a student. I need to see your driver's license, please. It's on the back of your phone.
You're driving a vehicle. You need a driver's
so I need to see your driver's license now, please.
Okay.
All right. Put your hands up here.
No, sir. I have...
Put your hands on the steering wheel.
I haven't done... I have my...
Here we go.
Okay, put your hands on the steering wheel.
I have my...
Put your hands on the steering wheel. I'm going to do everything for you. Hands on the steering wheel.
I haven't done anything.
This is the 5th time I tell you now.
Told you, man, the police, they've had enough of this shit.
This is the 5th time I tell you, put your hands on your steering wheel or you're going to get dragged out of the car. We can do this a simple way. Okay.
What are you doing?
All right.
No, sir, please don't touch me.
Do not do this.
I'm just scared. I'm sorry.
I got you. Step out of the car.
I'm just scared.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car. We will pick everything up here in a second. Put your hands behind your back.
Damn, backup showed up quick.
Put your hands behind your back, please.
I don't have anything wrong with my
Can you put your hands behind your back?
And she's probably getting arrested because she didn't want to show her ID, even though whatever she has on her possession, probably her expired ID. I'm sure they ended up seeing it regardless. And this is from Mike Bolin. Obviously, she's an illegal. Maybe, maybe not. He said he pulled her over for an expired license. I guess that's possible that she might be illegal, but this is nothing out of the ordinary. This happens all the time, especially with the progressive types. They stonewall, well, I don't know if, I guess obstruct would be an appropriate word to use in that instance because you have to produce your ID, lady. All right, so obviously she's an illegal. Not sure about that, but you can watch her eyes and body language filled with the cognitive dissonance of what's about to occur. Take the $3,000 and the plane ticket and self-deport. So, yeah, I mean, if she does happen to be an illegal immigrant, then, yeah, you should probably take that advice. And from Daniel, just give the fucking ID. They identify you and move the fuck on. Why make a mess of a small thing? I still don't know how the cop is supposed to know the driver has a valid driver's license if he can't request to see it because he ran her tag. He ran the tag, and the tag goes back to the person who owns the vehicle, or at least who owns the tag that's supposed to be on the vehicle that the tag was issued to. And that's how they can determine if a driver's license is valid or not. And look, they already knew that she was in trouble because she had a valid driver's license. It came back. So I'm not sure why they were running tags, but there's nothing against the law for police departments to run license plates while they're sitting in traffic. I mean, I'm sure it's happened to me. It's probably happened to all of us. So this comes from Juanita Broderick, same video. WTF is wrong with these people. All right, so anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Eric Doherty, holy smokes. The man who was in Nick Shirley's video has gone to 50 Somali daycares on his own, and not one has children. So this would be a good time to play this video from Nick Shirley. Went viral. It's up over 1 million views. It came out on December 26th, which was only 2 days ago as of this recording. And I think he's only got 125 videos on YouTube. He just, I don't know how recently exactly he started his YouTube channel, but he hasn't been around very long. And he investigated Minnesota's $1 billion fraud scandal. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's 43 minutes. I don't think I can regardless because I'm sure, copyright reasons, whatever. But I'll play the intro. I think I could at least do that. The intro is about 1 minute long. And of course, as always, with everything else, I will link this video directly into the description so you can watch it there. And let's give this a look.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money
Oh,
spent
I remember that, dude.
1.26 million. What
Okay, hold on. So the dude that just said he wants to hold Governor Walz accountable for what happened, he represents, oh man, is it the homeless? I think it's homeless. I think it's, or maybe even homeless veterans. He represents a large amount of people who live in Minnesota, thousands of people. And I showed a video clip of him last week on my show, The Swamp, which I do Monday through Friday. And that dude just went ballistic. He sits on a council or a committee, and he just went off on the Minneapolis local government because of all this money that has been squandered that rightfully should have gone to people who are in actual need of medical benefits, homelessness, or housing, what have you.
was that money spent? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question, are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia.
How do you effing like that, man? The amount, $9 billion. If they fraudulently stole $9 billion from the state of Minnesota, that's more money than the entire country of Somalia's entire GDP for a year.
Fraudsters have
Absolutely
worked hand
insane.
in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be
Only
given
in
to
sanctuary
fraudulent
state, blue state
businesses
America.
underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. taxpayers' expense. And in this video, we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion.
Okay, all right, so I'll just keep it there. Yeah, just absolutely wild, man. And one of Trump's advisors went on Fox News last week and said, like, it shouldn't surprise anybody at all. Somalis whose main job occupation in Somalia is freaking piracy. So does this surprise anybody that they're stealing money from taxpayers, especially in a place like Minnesota where they've been deep blue for probably more than half a century? So it's probably not exactly the hardest thing ever to defraud the state of Minnesota out of their tax money. So, okay, so anyway, let me just read this one more time. So the man who was in Nick Shirley's video, which we just got the beginning part of it out of the way, has gone to 50 Somali daycares on his own, and not one has children. The old man right there who was in the video we just checked out. They average about $2.5 million a year. I go there in the morning, afternoon, and night. No kids there ever. Raid them all, and I'm sure they probably will. Look, the state of Minnesota is probably not raiding shit. You're going to have to depend on the federal government. Now, if it was only state funds, if Minnesota could prove that only state funds were stolen fraudulently, I still don't even think, I'm sure the FBI would still have the authority to get involved in that. If $9 billion, there's got to be a certain threshold of funds that have been fraudulently taken, whether if it's the local government, state government, or what have you, for the feds to get involved. And once the feds do get involved, then I'm sure raids are coming. This will be interesting to see this play out, though.
Massive fraud is going on here in the state of Minnesota, especially in Minneapolis. Explain to me what's going on with the daycares.
So one of the things that I've noticed is there's an exceptional number of child care centers that are set up mostly in Minneapolis, but also in St. Paul.
But wait a minute, why are there child care centers, especially if they're specific to Somalis? Because 80% of Somalis in Minnesota, they're on welfare, they're on food stamps, which I'm assuming they're not working, at least not full time. Otherwise, in most cases, they wouldn't be eligible for full government benefits. So why are they dropping them off in daycare if one, if not both, adults in the home aren't even working? That doesn't quite make a lot of sense to me.
And I said, wow, how many kids are there in the Twin Cities? Some of them are by my office, and I would watch, and I said, well, there aren't any kids there. And I go to another one, there aren't any kids there, and I'd see just some guys, some Somali guys outside smoking cigarettes. So I stopped at one of them, and I said, hey, I'm just wondering, I've got a grandson who's looking for childcare, and I wonder if this might be a good facility. And they said, no, we're all full. And they had the door open, and I looked, and there were no kids. There was like a couch and a table with a couple chairs, and I said, well, are the kids out back playing, or what kind of place is this? And
they're
the
on
guy
a field
said,
trip.
you go, and he almost pushed me out the door, and then he followed me down the street to my car, and that's when I said, wait a minute,
fraud.
there's something going on here, and that's got to be maybe 5 years ago. This fraud is so
Embezzlement,
massive.
God knows what.
When the dust settles on this, it's going to be found to be the largest fraud in the history of the country, and probably
second
the
to
world.
California,
it's
of
that
course.
big. The ones that I've gotten data on, they average about $2.5 million a year, and a lot of them will say they have anywhere from 80 to 120 children. I've been to literally 40 or 50 of these childcare, and there never has been a single child at any one of them ever. Morning, afternoon, evening. Some of them say they're open till 10 o'clock at night. I go there in the morning, I go there in the afternoon, I go there at 9 o'clock at night. Nobody, there are no kids there ever.
Yep, they need to investigate. And there's probably some laws, which are rightfully so, there's probably some laws in place where he probably can't just walk up there and start filming. Well, look, actually, he probably could, to be honest, if there's no kids there. If there's no kids, he could probably film all he wants. So anyway, I'm sure the feds are going to be getting involved with this. Matter of fact, I'd be curious to see if Attorney General Pamela Bondi has chimed in on this. I imagine that she has. And actually, she has not yet. Most recent post, December 18th, which wasn't even her post. She reposted something on December 18th and December 14th before that. It's the Christmas season. Well, it's after Christmas, but, we're still in the holiday season. We're in that weird week between Christmas and New Year's. So a lot of people aren't working at the moment. And the same goes to the Department of Justice. The most recent post that they have is from December the 24th or December 25th. Merry Christmas. And then before that has to do with the Epstein files. So I'm sure once we get New Year's out of the way, I'm sure they're probably going to be digging into this. At least I imagine that they probably will be. So let me just take a quick look here and just ask Grok a quick question. What percentage of Somali immigrants in Minneapolis are employed? Not sure if we're going to get anything out of it. Okay, so approximately 70% of working-age Somali adults 18 to 64 in Minnesota, including the large Minneapolis community, are employed based on recent 2024-25 American Community Survey data analyses. So, if that's actually the case, if that many of them are working, then what are they doing with their children? They're obviously not in these daycare centers. Maybe they are in other daycare centers, but the ones that they've been investigating, the 50 daycare centers, clearly they're empty. Especially when he said he's been going there morning, noon, and night, and there's never any kids there. And this is from Nick Shirley himself. Hey, Tim, go check up on the quality of the leering of these children. If you notice, this learning center, they didn't spell learning correctly. Ain't that funny? And it's just an image. It's not a video. I just find that to be hilarious. I believe that he points this out in that video that I played the intro for. So if you want to check that out. And he actually responded to Governor Tim Walz from a post he made way back on October 20th of 2023. And he says, we're providing $316 million in direct funding to boost pay for childcare providers, all while building a stronger childcare system for middle-class families. You can learn more here at mn.gov. And a lot of gaslighting, I imagine, if it even exists. Yeah, it looks like it's here. Great Start Compensation Support Payment Program. So that will be linked below if you want to look into this a little bit. Eligibility. This program is open to eligible licensed family care child providers, licensed child care centers, certified child care centers and providers licensed by a tribal nation. Providers registered as legal non-licensed providers with the Child Care Assistance Program are eligible to apply for legal non-licensed one-time payment. Lovely. So I can only imagine how easy it would probably be to get licensed in the state of Minnesota. And looks like he responded to himself on the same day. Minnesota's economy doesn't work without child care providers, so we're giving them a raise. They didn't give anybody a raise. Instead, they gave Al-Shabaab, the terrorist organization in Somalia, they got a hell of a raise. They got a big-ass raise. All right, so moving on to Elon Musk from December 27th. Look at me. I run the daycare center now. Which, what was that? Captain Phillips, is that what that was? I can't remember the name of that movie, but yeah, the Tom Hanks movie where the Somali pirates hijack the what was it, a container ship, something like that, when they were traversing over the Indian Ocean by Somalia. It was actually a pretty good movie. Deplorable hawk. So this is a new topic. This happened in a convenience store, and I got a couple of these clips of convenience stores, people just wilding and running in there and just causing havoc, stealing all kinds of shit. Deplorable hawk, beat the crap out of them or pepper spray. I mean, in my opinion, I think you could use something a lot more deadly than those two things. At least in my state, you can. What should store owners do to stop this? Let's watch this first. Take a look.
You on camera, so you going to jail. Going to jail.
Well, I mean, you can't shoot them if they're just breaking stuff.
Really? Wow, that's crazy. Oh my God.
It's fucking Dollar Tree. Crying out loud.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Is the police on the way? Oh my God.
There's one word that comes to mind. Restitution.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Dog.
Calm down. Calm down.
Wow.
Bonehead's wearing a
This is
security
crazy. I don't
shirt.
even want what I
Can't make
get.
this shit up.
This is crazy, bro.
Probably felony level destruction of property, I would imagine. I'm sure there's probably a threshold. What is that? Grand theft. They may have raised it. I know they did in California. I think grand theft is like $900 now, which is insane. I think in my state it's like 500, something like that. Maybe it's 400. Actually, maybe it's even down to 250. I'd have to look again. I honestly can't remember what the threshold for grand theft is. You know, the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony. Yeah, so I got another one here. Why do we allow this? This is your community. And when these store owners, when they lose enough merchandise, they have to shut down forever, and now they're not going to have a convenience store to go into anymore. And that's already happening in cities all over the country. They got no more local grocery stores, no more local convenience stores, and of course the Democrats are calling it all racist. These companies are racist because they're closing their establishments.
Oh, these so funny. Cut it part 3. Part 3.
And look, I don't know what legal what charge that they could be hit with. I don't know if this is it shoplifting or is it burglary? I believe that if you go in and you steal stuff and you don't have any money to pay for it, look, it could be burglary, but maybe there's a certain money threshold in some states where one or the other would apply. But I know in my state, in the state of Florida, that if somebody goes in with the intent of committing either robbery or burglary or assault, you have every right as a store owner or a clerk to use deadly force if any of those 3 felonies are happening. All right, so anyway, moving on to Nick's Order New. The Indian government is complaining their citizens are being stranded in India due to President Trump's increased vetting for H-1B visas. Stranded in their home countries? Just leave them there, please. We don't need them. So let's take a look at this.
While we do understand, as you also understand, that visa-related issues pertain to the sovereign domain of any country, we have flagged these issues and our concerns of our nationals to the US side, both here in New Delhi and in Washington, D.C. And we hope that these delays and these disruptions will be addressed. There are several people who have been stranded for an extended period of time. because of scheduling or rescheduling issues of consular appointments, and these have also caused a lot of hardships to their families, to the family life that they have, as also to the education of their children.
Oh my God, dude.
As you would understand,
why is he trashing his
I
country
think there
so
was
much?
a communication from the U.S. government also that.
I mean, you might as well just say, yeah, we're stuck in the shittiest country in the world, and we just want something better.
With effect from December
How dare
15th.
you, sir?
Appointments.
Okay. Look, all of these tech guys that want to come over here with H-1B visas, start your own tech industry in India. And all the Indian doctors, start your own hospital network. And India is the most populated country in the world. I'm sure they don't have an oversupply of doctors. I'm sure they could probably certainly use some doctors in many areas around India, but we all know what it's for. It's all about money. All they want, they just want more money. It's all about greed, man. It's all about that greed. So how are Indians on H-1B visas valid for only 3 years coming here and obtaining 30-year mortgages to buy a home? That's a really good question. How are they even qualifying for a mortgage with no credit history and only a short-term work visa? Why are they moving their entire families to the USA with H-4 visas? 80% of H-1B visas are going to entry-level or junior-level positions. They are the types of jobs that new American college grads used to get. This entire system seems bizarre and doesn't make any sense for an American politician to support. And Wall Street Mav posted this on December 26th. The Trump administration already said they're cracking down on H-1B visas, and I'm definitely going to hold them to it. I'm sure that's definitely going to be happening. So we'll see how that plays out, which is probably why India's freaking out, because they're clamping down on H-1B visas. Nope, dude. No, Americans should be getting those jobs first. And Aesthetica says, can someone from the government explain how someone from India here on a temporary visa owns a home, has multiple children in school, have their entire extended family here, have the means to travel to India for every major holiday, and are allowed to work remotely from India? Very interesting point. Leading report breaking India's reporting delays of H-1B visas to the U.S. with Indians being stranded in their home country. And apparently JD Vance says mass migration is theft of the American dream. JD Vance, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And Nayland Haley, you can't be stranded in your own country. The Indian government is only complaining because they want their remittance money. Delaying visas is good, but not good enough. We need a complete H-1B visa ban. And I don't think you're going to get a lot of pushback from that, except for maybe the tech overlords and maybe the leaders of these mega hospital networks, things like that. Yeah, they would probably not be too pleased with that, because then they would have to pay American wages or fair American salaries. So anyway, open source intel, India urges U.S. to address H-1B visa delays. Several people have been stranded in India for quite some time due to their H-1B visa appointment delays. This has caused hardship for their families, says Indian Foreign Ministry. Oh, dude. Yeah, you got a college degree, you can find a job in India, and if not, then create one. I mean, that's what most small businesses, all small businesses have to do that. They have to start their own. They have to take the risk and start your own business. That's what they should be doing in India. I mean, they don't live in a communist nation. Mario Nalfal, H-1B visa crackdown backfires. Big tech hired 32,000 workers in India instead of Americans. As U.S. H-1B visa rules tighten this year with higher fees and wage requirements, big tech responded predictably. They hired offshore instead. Meta, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, and Google pushed their combined India workforce to 214,000, the fastest growth in 3 years. That's 32,000 plus new hires that could have gone to Americans. Well, look, man, these companies, they're doing mass layoffs right now. Amazon, they just laid off, 10 or 25,000 people in just the last couple of months. They're doing rounds of layoffs, in fact. And it's not just Amazon, it's all the tech industries or all the tech companies. They're all doing the same thing. They're doing mass layoffs. And now I understand why. So these aren't call center jobs. They're AI, machine learning, cloud engineering, data science, and cybersecurity roles. The exact strategic positions policymakers claim we need to protect, which is kind of hilarious, especially with something like cybersecurity, because of the insane level of scamming that goes on in India. And I am sure that there are Indian employees with these degrees that work for these companies, and they end up scamming the company right up from under them. I'm sure that happens all the time with data breaches and all that. So the irony is brutal. Visa curbs designed to prioritize American workers just made it cheaper and easier for corporations to offshore the same jobs remotely. No visa required, no wage floor, no American hired. This is the loophole nobody closed. You can restrict who comes here to work. You can't restrict who works from there. Until policy addresses corporate offshoring directly, companies will keep doing the math and choosing the cheaper option overseas. American workers keep losing quietly, legally, and nobody in Washington seems to notice. And the source that he gives is Money Control and MSN. And that does bring up a very good point. So these big companies, they could just avoid the H-1B visas altogether by just hiring them in India and having them work remote for the company. So that definitely should be something the Trump administration should be looking at too. Laura Ingram, NO, and of course, replying to the same post from Open Source Intel. And this is from the General. Breaking, India reports H-1B visa delays to the U.S., leaving many Indian applicants stranded at home. An image of a flight. And Rajiv Malhotra, not so fast, Wall Street Mav. You must answer. Since Indian kids get the maximum awards in American schools in math and science, are those tests also fake across the USA? No, we're not saying that at all. I'm sure there's many Indian immigrants who are highly intelligent. I mean, they are Asians. Isn't the Asian continent home to the highest average level of IQ on the planet? Since Indians win most of the spelling bee, geography, and other open competitions, are those also rigged? I don't think he was making that point at all, but okay. Since Indians in Silicon Valley comprise the largest percentage of successful tech entrepreneurs, is the entire tech industry fraud? Well, I would push back and ask, well, what percentage of these individuals, like how many of them became H-1B visa holders before they became tech tycoons? Or were they American-born who have Indian parents? I mean, there's probably plenty of variables to go through with that. Since Indian Americans have the highest percentage of doctors in the USA among all ethnicities, is the U.S. medical field fraud? No, but I'm sure India could certainly use some doctors, especially the ones who are, from India. Since Indian Americans have the highest per capita income, is the entire American industry a fraud? Okay. Since Indian Americans have the highest percentage of adults with advanced degrees, is the entire higher education a fraud? Or could it be that you are a fraud? Oh, somebody's butt hurt. Somebody really butt hurt. They're just mad. Like, dude, what's wrong with India? You're the most populated country in the world. Isn't the India GDP growth, it's been in the double digits for what? Like over a decade now? Like their GDP growth, at least I believe I've read it somewhere that it was like, what, 15% year over year? So their economy is booming. So why can't they just stay in India and try to blow up the economy, or in a good way blow up their economy in India? Instead, like, why are they insisting that they just lose all their best and brightest to America? You think that if anybody would be pushing back against H-1B visa, it would be India, the Indian government, because they're losing all their best and brightest. They're losing them all to America. But I'm sure there's more things at play. I'm sure they send lots of money back home and so on and so forth, as immigrants tend to do. So this is, did I already read this one? India gets 71% of H-1B visas. It is not because they have the best talent. It is because they are the best at fraud and cheating. Okay, so I thought at first that this dude was replying to the first one that I read from Wall Street Map. Obviously, this is a different post. Fake certifications and degrees are widespread in India, which they probably are. Then they use nepotism from managers already established in the U.S. to bring in more of their people. Once an Indian gets in a position of hiring authority in an American company, then quickly the Americans are removed and they're replaced with Indians. Well, dude, that's very illegal. I mean, that's discrimination, isn't it? I believe that would be a violation of the Anti-Discrimination Act or the Civil Rights Act. Anyway, if H-1Bs were based on talent and skill, the numbers from India would be 1% of the program. All right, well, there you go. Country level fraud rates with Stripe Radar. I mean, look, like maybe only India would try to dispute the level of fraud that occurs in their country. And yeah, scamming is every bit of fraud. I mean, India is like ground zero. It's been the number one place for fraud as a country for forever. Probably going back to the 90s or the 80s. All right, so moving on to the next post. Let's see, where is it? Heading to Indian tech and infra. Major U.S. tech firms Meta, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, and Google hired over 32,000 employees in India in 2025, despite tight H-1B rules. Very interesting. Camus Digital ID. What could possibly go wrong? Just days after Keir Starmer praised India's Aadhaar rollout as a model, reports emerge of cyber thieves stealing the entire database. 815 million people's names, addresses, IDs, and bank details, selling it for $80,000 each. One place for everything: passport, NHS records, criminal history, finances, travel. How secure can that be? Data breaches happen daily. This is a massive wake-up call. So this is obviously pertaining to the UK and not the US. 2-minute 26 clip inside, shocking details. And from this point on, I'm going to move into what's going on in the UK, man. Like the UK, you think things are bad here, man. It's way worse in the UK. Let's take a look at this.
Digital ID. What could possibly go wrong? So do you remember about a week or so ago, maybe 10 days ago, Keir Starmer was out in India meeting Modi, the Indian president or prime minister, and a load of their top officials, and extolling the benefits of digital ID and saying what a fabulous rollout they'd had in India, which has their nationwide digital ID system called Aadhaar or Aadhaar, depending how you pronounce it. Well, listen to how well it's going. Thieves or crypto thieves or digital thieves or cyber thieves or whatever you want to call them, cyber criminals, are currently claiming that they have stolen the entire database, 815 million people's details, names, addresses, identity confirmations, bank details, etc., etc., etc. They've cracked the code.
No
and they've
surprise.
got the entire database, and they're currently selling the entire database for $80,000 at a time. Now, whether that's been verified or not, I don't know, but that story is doing the round.
Okay, so they're selling all 815 million names and details for 80,000. At first, I was like, wait a minute, they're selling $80,000 what, per person? That doesn't make any sense. But okay, so the entire database. Because if you compress it all down into simple text, it's probably not as enormous of a database as you might think.
So just how secure is it going to be? Just how well is it going to work? As I've said this so many times, when every single piece of information about your life, your passport and your driving license and your NHS records and your criminal record and your bank details and every transaction of...
Well, and of course they're going to be hiring Indians who live in India to help maintain the database because it's cheaper labor. And plus the elected officials in the UK, they don't want to come across as a racist or anything.
Everything that you buy, and your gas bill and your electricity bill and your travel records and your flight records and your car tax and your council tax and anything you've ever done criminally, any arrest record, absolutely everything, any hospital appointments, anything about you at all is all held in one place. How safe and how secure is that going to be? Do you trust the people running these systems? Do you trust them to keep your data secure? We get data breaches, data thefts every single day. And sometimes we get really, really big ones. There's been lots just in the last year in this country alone. So how well is it going to work when every single facet of your life is held in one place? It's just happened in India. Go and look it up. And the ironic thing is that Starmer was just out there holding them up as an example of how well the system could work.
Yeah, okay.
We believe you.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. I think probably virtually every American, their social security number is already on the dark web somewhere. It's somewhere, as well as our names, our addresses. I mean, pretty much everything has been hacked in some way, shape, or form at this point. I mean, whether if it's like Target or Best Buy, Bank of America, I'm sure everybody's been breached at this point. Maybe not literally everybody, but I'm sure enough companies have been breached at this point to where all of us have at least something identifiable that's sitting on the dark web somewhere. All right, and we got this one from Richard Kemp V. PM and other ministers say getting this Egyptian into Britain has been a top priority. Bad enough when jihadist's true intent is not identified, but his is blatant. He wants to kill Jews and has called the British dogs and monkeys. He should be deported and citizenship canceled. Do you really think they're going to do that? I somehow doubt it. So here's a few of his posts. Allah Abd El Fattah. I don't know. That sounds vaguely familiar. I'm not on the up and up, which with regard to UK affairs. I mean, I know a little bit, but not that much. So anyway, it says, "Dear Zionists, please don't ever talk to me. I'm a violent person who advocated the killing of all Zionists, including civilians, so fuck off." And that was on November 3rd of 2010. It was a while ago, but it still happened. Whatever you post on the internet, it is forever. But anyway, the point of these posts is that this dude said some pretty hateful shit. "Yes, I consider killing any colonialists and especially Zionists heroic. We need to kill more of them." But yet he hasn't been arrested for quote unquote hate speech. But a lot of other people in Great Britain, they've been arrested for far less than that with regard to posts that they're making on the internet. And so this one, I'm going to have to skip the video. The last time I played Jimmy Kimmel, my video got struck. Well, it didn't get it struck specifically. Well, YouTube wouldn't let me upload my video without cutting out that segment, but I'll at least read the text here. Jimmy Kimmel told a UK audience that free speech in the United States is under siege under President Trump, a claim that contrasts sharply with Britain's own record. Last year, UK authorities reportedly arrested some 12,000 people for online posts deemed offensive or grossly offensive, averaging nearly 30 a day. 30 a day. So anyway, I'll repost this, and there's a direct link to my X account in the description below, or you can go to OSINT613, and they posted that on December 26th, 11:23 a.m. And make Britain free again. If your bathtub was overflowing, you wouldn't immediately reach for the mop. You'd first turn off the tap, because that's what we need to do with illegal immigration. Britain is broken. The Church of England has completely fallen. Released on the official Church of England Instagram page, the main character in the Christmas story is allegedly not Jesus, but Mary. The whole leadership of the church must be fired. Let's take a look at this.
If you ask me, who do I think is the main character in the Christmas story? Let's face it, I'm probably not going to say Father Christmas. But I'm also not going to say Jesus, because I think the main character in the Christmas story is Mary.
Yeah,
I think sometimes we can fall into a bit of a trap where we talk about Mary as if she's like this pawn in a really big game. But I think it's really important to remember she had the chance to say no. She wasn't forced to carry the Christ child. She didn't have to. But when she was told about it, she said, yes, behold the handmaiden of the Lord. So I think it's really important this Christmas time we remember to be a bit more like Mary.
Yeah, whatever. You know, be a bit more like Mary. In other words, never have an abortion, ever. Every time that you get pregnant, carry your child to term. So I think I left a comment with regard to this. I think I left... Yeah, here it is. "I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man." And that's from Timothy, or 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. And I think somebody else probably also referenced that, but maybe not. Yeah, with women, clergy. I think there's something to be said about that, especially in the orthodoxy. Anyway, Britain is broken. Let's play a game of Spot the White Person. This was filmed in Bradford today. So I did watch this earlier today. Most videos that I play on this channel, I don't watch it beforehand. I just want to react as it goes. But I think I did spot the white person. Let me see if I can spot him again. Or maybe you can. Right there. Maybe. I think that's the white person. I could tell because she's got blue hair. She just darted through there real quick now, didn't she? What is this, like some Black Friday shenanigans? Children? Yeah, I don't know if they count or not. That girl did not look non-British. All right, anyway, we get the idea. We'll go and move on to the next thing. Norman Brennan, an utter scumbag that has been imported into Britain, and 2 Jewish gentlemen who wouldn't hurt a fly, beaten and seriously injured. One thing I miss about my warrant card, it gave me the power to protect society and robustly. This asshole makes me effing sick to see. Well, this situation makes me effing sick to see. I'm also pointing to this asshole. This guy right here. This guy equals asshole. And you'll see why. And do you think anything's going to be done about this? Probably not. Nope, probably not. Just unbelievable. fucker's just walking down the sidewalk, decides to beat up these people. Presumably just because they're Jewish. And he runs after the other guy. 2 elderly men can probably hardly defend themselves. Fucking scumbag. So yeah, so that happened. And Shaya's clan, Britain is finished. The rest of Europe will follow. How could they have even allowed it to happen? Jihad is part of Islam. We are not afraid of the UK government. I mean, this is what your government's importing into your country, and they have been for what, well over a decade, by the masses, by the hundreds of thousands. And what is it that they've said? These Islamists that are in the UK, that we don't have to defeat you conventionally. We just have to outbreed you. That's what they say.
It's a concept in our religion, so I'm not going to be apologetic.
Jihad for the sake of Allah. You accept Islam, you pay jizya, it's war.
The solution, very simple. Jihad fi sabilillah. We don't fear anyone but Allah. We don't fear the United Nations, British government. We don't give a damn. We only fear Allah. Jihad fi sabilillah.
And the disbelievers that may surround that community, the Quran has legislated something known as al-jihad, which we would refer to more specifically al-jihadul qitali, the armed struggle or armed warfare against those elements.
What do you think the future is?
The armed struggle. So who do you think in the UK are going to be more likely to end up getting access to firearms? Do you think it's going to be the jihadis, or do you think it's going to be the everyday British citizen?
For jihad. Because
well, I just said that the Prophet ﷺ, I believe he said in the hadith that al-jihad madin ila yawm al-qiyamah, it's continuous until the day of judgment.
Islam is seeking to
This all falls under freedom of speech in the UK now, doesn't it?
And the Ministry of Defense is carrying out the jihad activities. This is natural, and this should be accepted as it is accepted in any other law.
Okay, well, that's happening in the UK. All right, let's move on to the next thing. And what have we here? Y'all see Ben Yakar. Muslims are crying Islamophobia after Jess Gill, the director of the Women's Safety Initiative, attributed the surge in British R cases to unchecked immigration, lack of proper vetting, and differing values. In today's Britain, facts are labeled hate speech, and truth is treated as a crime, as it is.
Extremely shameful, but unfortunately I can't say that it is shocking. I mean, we've had case after case after case of women being sexually harassed, of being abused, of being raped, of being murdered, and time again, it is because of mass immigration. It's the inevitable consequence of importing millions of men from countries with high rates of female genital
UK now has the highest R figures in Europe.
Mutilation, forced marriages, child marriages. These are countries which fundamentally do not respect women. And when you allow men coming over to the UK from these countries without any vetting on their values, this is the inevitable consequence.
Well, stop carrying your Free Palestine signs, which I doubt this lady's doing.
Almost every single week.
But too many UK women are.
Every single week, I dare say.
From the river to the
being
sea.
Sexually assaulted and raped, and who often than not, the perpetrator, is not a British person.
Now, of course, it's important to point out that not everybody who comes to this country is a sex offender. Nobody is saying that. But what we can say with confidence from the data we're able to get our hands on is that there seems to be more of a propensity per capita for foreign nationals to commit sex crimes. Let's get a graphic on screen now that was done for us by the Centre for Migration Control. Rob Bates did this. Let's get that on our screen, and it shows there are 78 nationalities
Afghanistan,
in
number
Britain
one,
where per head they are more likely to commit sex crimes than the indigenous population. You can see right at the bottom there, tiny bar, the white bar is the United Kingdom. British national residents at the top, Romanians, Polish, Indians. And the facts are the facts. The facts are racist, Jess. What does that tell you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
tells me they're probably not going to assimilate anytime soon.
Hasn't readily provided these statistics. It's taken Rob Bates from the Centre for Migration Control working super hard to get these statistics. The government, the authorities have tried to cover this up for so long.
What's happening to them? Are they getting 10 years, 20, 30 years in prison?
All these case studies where, I've had women from the Women's Safety Initiative. I've had so many testimonies of women going to the police and being turned away because of accusations of racism, or feeling that they won't be even listened to begin with because of accusations of racism. So dare I say, I imagine the number
Yeah,
is
just keep
actually
R-wording
quite
all
a
of
bit
our
higher
women because
of
we
this
don't want to be
worry.
racist.
I mean, we recently did a poll
Talk
that
about
said
clown
that
world.
almost half of women in this country believe that their area is becoming more unsafe because of mass immigration. This is a decline. This
Then
is
why
a
do they keep
regress,
voting for
and I
these
don't
people who
like
keep
the
allowing it
direction
then?
this country is going in terms of women's safety.
Okay, Jess Gill, the director of the Women's Safety Initiative. Thank you for joining us.
Psychotic, man. Why do they keep voting for these officials that keep allowing this to happen? I just don't get it. I don't know. Chaya's clan, again, the reality of today's Britain. It doesn't have to be like this. And let's give this a go.
So another teenage girl gone, 19 years old, dead in the street. Her name was Lily Whitehouse. She was found just before 10 o'clock at night in Oldbury, West Midlands, lying in the road, serious injuries. Paramedics tried, but she didn't make it. A 41-year-old man named Mohammed Azim has been charged with her murder. He's behind bars waiting for his next hearing in December. 19 years old, her life just starting, and here's the part that will make your stomach turn. It happened only 7 miles from where 34-year-old Katie Fox was stabbed to death in the neck by 21-year-old Dajacian Raphael. 2 women, 2 families within days of each other destroyed. 2 headlines that vanished in a day. These stories should stop the country in its tracks.
Headlines vanished in a day, huh?
Made the news. No protests, no candlelit vigils, no national
of course
outrage, just silence. That's the problem.
Because
We've
we don't
become
want to
so
appear
used to tragedy
racist.
that we barely blink when it happens. 2 innocent women gone, and most people just scroll past like it's background noise. If that's where this country's at, numb, detached, desensitized,
Yeah,
then
it
something's
is where it
gone
is.
badly wrong. Because this isn't just about Lily or Katie. It's about all of us, about what kind of country we're becoming. We need leadership that's not afraid to act, not scared of upsetting the professional offence takers on the
good luck
left.
with that.
Someone willing to make hard decisions to keep people safe. Because if we don't get that soon, these stories won't shock anyone at all. They'll just become the new normal. And that should terrify every single one of us. Have your say in the comments and follow for more news, views, and uncomfortable truths.
All right. And moving on to the next one, Andy Saxon, Broken Britain. Where are the women and children? Did you know on any given night, tens of thousands of families and individuals are experiencing the worst forms of homelessness across Great Britain? This includes more than 242,000 households in England alone. As of mid-2025, June through August figures, around 32,000 asylum seekers were housed in approximately 210 to 220 hotels across the UK that we know of. Our tax-paying money should be looking after families here in the UK first, not unknown illegal immigrant cowardly men who leave their women and children behind.
What?
Well, they don't even want to show their faces. Fucking coward.
People want to see this. People want to see this.
People want to see this.
What's the matter with you?
You should shove it up your ass. Sit and spin, bitch.
Walking up for the food. Some salad, bread, peas.
All men. All military-aged men. A lot of the problem that we have here in America. A lot of those immigrants, military-aged men.
Security's here, man. Yeah? Huh? What's the matter with you?
Wait, and that's
Where
a
you
cop
from?
right there, too?
Where?
Yeah, a security officer.
You go
Good
get
grief.
a job. Yeah? We haven't got jobs.
All right. Rolling on to the next one. And another concerned citizen. Meanwhile, in the UK, a man has been sentenced for 2 years for this comment on Facebook. There could be no doubt that you were inciting violence once Great Britain is cooked. And
a man
see
has
what
been
this is all
sentenced
about.
to 2 years in prison for this comment on Facebook.
You wrote, because they're over here, given life of Riley off the tax us hard-working people earn when it could be put to better use. Come over here with no work visa, no trade to their name, and then there's more people being put out homeless each year.
Yeah,
They
probably
get
truth.
top band priority on housing. You went on to
well, they
say
do.
that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, our kids and get priority, end quote. Although you said that
That would have been a perfect time for him to say, I didn't say grape. I said, which I can't say on YouTube, of course.
You had no intention of carrying out any act of violence. There can be no doubt that you were inciting others to do so.
There can be no doubt.
Wow. Like, you're not allowed to say that because you might wake other people up from their comas, from their societal, brain-rotted, matrix-dwelling comas. They don't want everybody to wake up and realize. Talk about V for Vendetta vibes,
That
man.
you were inciting violence for literally just saying objectively true statements.
The truth. Wow, man. And sadly, and furiously, they could try to appeal that 2-year conviction by saying, dude, I just simply I spit facts. It was 100% the truth. It was absolutely the truth. And even the appeals court would probably say, nope, no, we're gonna give you 4 years. We're gonna double your sentence because how dare you speak up against the machine on behalf of the truth. And we got one more. Meanwhile, in the UK, there's no law against covering your face. This man didn't want to be picked up by AI facial recognition, so he covered his face in public. The police said this is disorderly behavior. Britain in 2025 is quickly turning into a police state. Well, why don't you just tell me you got COVID? Yeah, I got COVID, so 6 feet, stay away, because COVID is still going around. I mean, especially the mainstream media types, the propagandists, they're not talking about COVID that much these days, but COVID's very much still going around, even though it's not nearly as prevalent as it was, of course.
Where there's a facial recognition van, you've covered your whole face up.
First time he got the flu.
This man didn't want to be caught by the police
I got strep
cameras,
throat.
so he covered his face. Police stopped him. They photographed him anyway.
There's no law. There's no law against covering your face. Yeah, okay, well there you go. You let him go then.
Well, maybe it's
your face?
Maybe it's because I don't consent to being on there.
Oh, right. Okay, why's that?
Because I think it's a bit of a government overreach.
Oh, right, okay.
All right, well, we don't care.
Details down, is that all right?
Don't cover my face, I cover my face. Don't push me over when I'm walking down the street.
The police said this was disorderly behaviour, so they gave him a fine.
I've got a now £90
Wow.
fine. There you go.
Wow.
Look at that.
You let them know that he's got a right to cover his face and he can walk away.
The thing is, we live in a country which is free. We don't have to carry ID.
You're
we don't live in a
supposed
state
to be
where the
free.
police have the right
You ain't
to
free,
see your
dude.
ID willy-nilly. This takes away my freedom.
Now, look, going back to the COVID era, I mean, I don't know if they would issue you a fine, at least not in the state that I live in. If you went into an establishment without wearing a mask, they would make you leave, or they would tell you to leave and they wouldn't serve you. So it is kind of the opposite in that case. But anyway, so Rob Schneider, Britain is lost. It was conquered not by the sword, not by Hitler's bombs. It was conquered by woke tolerance. And he's pointing out defiant L's from December the 26th. British MP Iqbal Mohammed argues in Parliament that banning cousin and forced marriage is not right because it's part of people's culture. Can you believe this is even being discussed in 2025 in the West? Well, I mean, not too surprised. Isn't the British monarchy, like throughout the history of the British monarchy, didn't they primarily marry their first cousins? Wasn't that a very common thing that happened in British royalty? At least I seem to remember something like that along my schooling. I think I picked that up somewhere. So maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe Prince Albert wasn't Queen Victoria's first cousin.
That needs greater awareness on virginity testing, forced marriages, and the freedom of women must be. Forced marriage must be prevented and the freedom of women must be protected at all times. However, the way to redress this is not to empower the state to ban adults from marrying each other, not least because I don't think it would be effective or enforceable. Instead, the matter needs to be approached as a health awareness issue and a cultural issue where women are being forced against their will to undergo marriage. In doing so, it is important to recognise for many people this is a highly sensitive issue, and in discussing it, we should try to step into the shoes of those who perhaps are not from the same culture as ours, to better understand
they can go back to the country from where they came.
Continues to be so widespread. An estimated 35 to 50% of all sub-Saharan African populations either prefer or accept cousin marriages, and it is extremely common in the Middle East and in South Asia. The reason the practice is so common
is that ordinary people see family intermarriage overall as something that is very positive, something that helps build family bonds.
Yeah, it just skyrockets IQs now, doesn't it?
On a more secure financial foothold. However, as is well
definitely going to benefit the first world, everybody marrying their cousins.
Health risks for the children.
It's not going to roll us back to the Stone Age at all.
Some of whom will be born out of wedlock. Instead of stigmatizing those who are in cousin marriages or those inclined to be, a much more positive approach would be to facilitate advanced genetic test screening for prospective married couples, as is the case in all Arab countries in the Persian Gulf, and more generally to run health education programs targeting those communities where the practice is most common. I would therefore urge the House to vote against this motion and to find a more positive approach to addressing the issues that are caused by
do tell. What's the positive approach?
Including the health risks and the consequences of modern conflicts and displacement of population around the world. Thank you.
All right, whatever. Okay, anyway, moving on. Let's go back, head on to the next. I think I'm getting fairly close to the end. A British patriot. Wow, a white man was arrested on arrival at a London airport for online comments. A brown man was allowed to enter Britain without question. One made remarks about trans people. The other openly called for the murder of white people. Same country, different rules. And there's that Fatah asshole again. Comedian Graham Linehan was arrested by armed officers at a London airport months after posting online comments about transgender people. Reason for jokingly making comments about trans people. Alaa Abd El Fattah, a British Egyptian activist, was arrested in Egypt in 2021. He was previously described Zionism as a crime against humanity and made statements endorsing violence against white men. The British government has repeatedly lobbied Egypt for his release and return to the UK. How do you like that? Wide Awake Media at the BBC, the jokes write themselves. In an attempt to prove the new arrivals are integrating well into Britain, a BBC reporter asked, "What does being British mean to you?" The new arrival, "I don't understand English." Of course.
We tried asking people here what it means to be British. What does being British mean to you?
I don't understand English.
That was hilarious, man. You couldn't see shit. Couldn't even see her freaking eyes. All right, Tommy Robinson. Boxing Day in modern London. Allah is coming for you, screamed at people buying coffee. Round them all up into port. Literally nobody in Britain would miss them. No. Holy shit, that's loud. Hold on. Good Lord, my apologies.
Every time you buy a coffee, you are funding a bullet that is killing a Palestinian kid. If you are a Muslim buying Starbucks, shame on you, and Allah is coming for you. I'm not scared of you, sir. I'm not scared of you.
Oh, so basically, if we catch you buying coffee at Starbucks, you're going to get killed.
Vote for IDF. Come on.
All right, whatever, dude. Starbucks is too damn expensive anyway. I thought they didn't drink coffee in UK. I thought they only drank that wussy tea. All right. Anyway, so Zizwe Banzi, Tommy Robinson on Islamophobia. Notice how aggressive they are toward him and try to cut him off. Immediately, he started reading the Quran. In case you are wondering how Britain became the shithole they are today.
If you're saying that the problem is with Islam, are you accepting that you're Islamophobic?
Because there are 100 verses in this...
Yes or no?
Okay.
Are you Islamophobic?
There's no such word as Islamophobia. Phobia is an irrational fear.
Yeah,
it's
y'all
not
made
irrational
it
to
up.
fear these things.
Y'all made it
if
up.
I hold this book up and say, there will never be peace on this earth so long as we have this book, it's a violent and cursed book.
How
Do you know
is
who-
wrong?
Can I tell you who said that? Can I tell you who said
Can
that?
you put the
Sir William Gladstone
You
said
wouldn't
that.
do that with...
Sir William
Would
Gladstone
you do that with
said
the
that.
Bible? Show some respect.
Show some respect.
Show some respect.
Have you read this book?
Well, where in the Bible does it say to kill these people and kill those people? As far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong, I haven't read the Bible word for word. I mean, maybe there's some mention in there somewhere. Maybe in the Old Testament, it might be buried in there somewhere that maybe there's some advocating for killing certain groups of people, but I somehow doubt it.
Have you read this book? There's 100 verses in this book that incite violence and murder against us.
Show some damn respect for people's religious beliefs, right?
I should show some respect for a book that incites murder against me.
Put it down.
And calls me an animal. No, I won't put it down. Sir
Show
William
some
Gladstone held
respect.
this book
They
above
want to
his head
kill us.
in Parliament, and he said there will never
Show
be
them
peace
the
on this earth so long as we
respect
have
that
this
they
book.
deserve.
It's a violent and cursed book. Was Sir William Gladstone, who
You don't
wore statues
convert,
across
you'll
our capital
die.
city,
Show them
was he a bigot
respect.
or an Islamophobe?
Pierce Morgan.
You're sounding like a complete
Winston Churchill. No, I'm quoting previous some of the best
it's
leaders
actually
in this
you who
country.
sounds like a
Sounds
lunatic, Pierce.
Lunatic. No, I'm not.
Somebody that basically,
Winston Churchill
you
said,
are an Islamophobe.
Pierce Morgan, you sound ignorant.
You basically think all Muslims are to blame. We've seen you on video saying it. And what you're doing now is deliberately inflammatory. It is deliberately poisonous.
How's this inflammatory?
And you are having
I'm
the
giving you
complete
facts.
opposite effect to the one that you say
I'm
you
quoting
have.
William Gladstone.
You are stirring
I'm
up
quoting-
hatred. You are abusing people's religion. You're abusing their faith. And you're
Dude, what you need to be asking Pierce is there in this book, are there any references to killing any human beings of any kind or any advocating of doing
a
so?
complete disgrace.
What do you know about the Prophet Muhammad? We've established nothing. You are ignorant.
I know
of
that you're
position.
deliberately insulting
What do you know
people
about the Prophet?
who
How
have-
am I insulting people?
who have deeply held religious beliefs.
And if they're in
you flounce
So?
the Quran around in your
This
hand.
book is
So does
the
most of Great
reason-
Britain.
This book is
Is outrageous.
At least once upon a time they did.
We're in such a mess.
No.
That's a reality.
No, we're in this mess because people take Islam, they are terrorists, and they abuse the nature of Islam
And you know
the
that-
wording of Islam,
You know
and
that-
they perpetrate evil, and
Shit, I'm muted. Don't they reference the Quran all the time, though?
it is completely wrong.
And you
And
know
for
that
you
how?
to try and claim that the
And you know that
vast
how?
majority of Muslims who are decent law-abiding
Yeah, they're not going
people,
to let him read it.
to
They're going to
try
cut to
and
commercial,
use
probably.
and mock their faith and their holy book is an outrage.
They're holy, but when you talk, okay, so
Tommy Robinson, I'm
when the
gonna- I'm
sacred
gonna
months have
stop you
passed,
there
slay the
because
non-Muslims wherever
we
you
are
find them and
going-
take them captive and
we
besiege them
are
and prepare for them in
going
ambush.
to-
Who's slaying who?
Oh.
I'm
We
not
are
inciting
going
hatred.
Uh-oh.
This calls for my death.
Yeah, of course they're going to cut to commercial. Yeah, they don't want the truth to be spoken. Britain is broken again. Rupert Lowe calls for the deportation of any foreigner supporting Palestine on our streets. Any foreigners causing chaos and harm on our streets in the name of Palestine should be deported. Rupert is correct again. No foreigners should be causing chaos on our streets. No, the only advocating they should be doing is advocating for Britain, not for any other country, but Britain, because that's where they are. So let's see what this is all about. Right here, let me see if I can. Yeah, here we go. So much for shoe shopping. I just want to shop till I drop. What the hell's going on here? Oh man, Britain is cooked, man. It is cooked, deep fried, and broiled. Britain is broken. 12-year-old Jewish boy visited by counter-terror police. A 12-year-old Jewish boy is under investigation by counter-terrorism. Please, after saying he wanted to see Hamas wiped out. The UK is a complete joke. Literal terrorists are protected over children. That they
This
are.
boy is under investigation by counter-terrorism officers after he said that he wanted Hamas to be wiped out.
Yeah,
TV News can reveal
they
this
should
story
be.
because the boy's family, who have requested anonymity, of course, have been interviewed by counter-terrorism police and local police
Can't make this
officers
shit up.
about a fear of radicalisation after his comments about Hamas. It's an astonishing story, and to talk about it, I'm joined by TV News reporter Charles.
Yeah, because murdering 1,200 Jews on October 7th, like that doesn't call for the elimination of Hamas at all, especially not from Jewish people. So the British Patriot, the average Brit works 40 hours a week and still struggles to feed their children. Enter Britain illegally, get a brand new house, benefits, rent paid, free dental care, free health care. Meanwhile, taxpayers are required to remain quiet and pick up the bill. Britain is broken.
It has a side garage. Let's go inside. Let's go in. Coming in, heading into the lounge, and there is your lounge with a bay window. Good size lounge, and you have your understair cupboard here, and this takes us into what I would call a kitchen diner area. You can see the lovely appliances. This is spacious kitchen diner, and you can see the garden there. Nice, lovely, big, beautiful garden.
What's left
and
of it.
here is your laundry room and toilet, guest toilet as your side. And now let's go upstairs. This is a 3-bedroom house. Okay, here is one of the rooms. This will be the smaller room. This is a new estate. And here is the second room. This is slightly bigger. And here is the family bathroom. And here is your storage with the boiler. And here is the master bedroom. Finally, this is big size. This is more like a, you see, and this should be the ensuite. Yes, it is. You can see. Hey.
All right, so that's not going to a British family. That's most likely going to be going to an immigrant family. Bernie, the unelected UN refugee chief, says that Britain should be able to accommodate and pay for at least 40,000 illegal migrants a year. This man pays no tax, earns more than 99% of the British public, and doesn't live here. Defund the unelected UN. Britain's 40,000 migrant crossings are nothing, suggests UN refugee chief. Filippo Grandi blames politicians for negative attitudes and creating a sense of chaos around arrivals. And let's see, Benin Wine. Oh, this is outstanding. The Belgian police use water cannons against Palestinian protesters. Don't you know, or don't you now think is the time to use water cannons against the Palestinian hate supporters in Britain as well? This is a perfect video to finish this off on. Take notes, British authorities. This is how you get shit done. Or you can do what they did in, what was it, France? I can't remember which country it was. One of those European countries, they were shooting, like, shit cannons. They were shooting, like, what was it, like, cow, liquefied cow feces at them. Right, well, there you go. So, anyway, that's all I got, man. Britain's cooked. Britain is out of control. The Indian government still angry over the Trump administration's crackdown on H-1B visas. And also Nick Shirley, the YouTuber, just revealing all the rampant fraud that's going on in Minnesota, at least from daycare centers. So a lot of crazy shit happened over the weekend, man. And it's only going to probably get crazier as time goes on. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I do The Swamp Monday through Friday. The video usually posts at 11 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see you there. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. Hope you have a fantastic Monday. And I hope to see you in the next one. See you later.